So, tonight we need to talk about something most businesses have no idea is happening to them. Artificial intelligence is exploding. Everybody's using it, everybody's automating things, and yet almost no one realizes that their insurance does not cover the most dangerous part of AI. Not the cool parts, not the creative parts, but the liability, the exposure, the lawsuits, the mistakes AI makes that you, as a business owner, are responsible for. And here's the disturbing part: insurance companies are quietly adding exclusions, removing protections, or outright denying claims when AI is involved. And most businesses don't even know it. One bad output from a chatbot, one wrong piece of code, one hallucinated fact in something your employee posts, and suddenly you're holding the bag. Your policy doesn't respond, and nobody tells you until it's too late. So, we're going to start tonight by investigating what's actually happening behind the scenes in the insurance world and why AI is now one of the biggest unprotected risks in business, and why coverage you think you have probably doesn't apply when artificial intelligence is involved. Trust me, if you own a business, if you use AI in your workflow, or if you're building anything in tech, you need to hear this. And after that, we're going to get into some wild AI stories that dropped this week. First, a new poll came out showing that 28% of US teens are using AI chatbots every single day. That's not casual use, that's dependency. And it raises a whole new set of questions about learning, identity, safety, and social engineering. So we're going to break that down. And then we have a major legal fight brewing. The New York Times just went after Perplexity AI, accusing them of straight up copying and redistributing New York Times journalism behind the scenes. And if this goes the way some experts think it will, this could change the entire future of AI training and copyright. And finally, scammers have leveled up. AI is now supercharging phone scams and making fake calls sound real. We're talking cloned voices, fake emergencies, fake kidnappings, even fake relatives, and people are falling for it. This is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I'll show you exactly what's happening and why it's becoming nearly impossible to tell a real call from an AI one. So we have a lot to cover tonight, from insurance companies quietly denying AI claims to teens glued to chatbots, to big media suing AI firms, to deep fake phone scams hitting everyday people. So let's get started with the first story. So this story is something that affects every business owner in America, and almost nobody knows about it. This is a story that was done by Bloomberg, and they touched upon it, but completely misunderstood the subject. The story about AI, insurance, and the biggest risk gap your business probably has right now, even if you don't think you use AI. But here's the truth. If your business uses AI in any way, even inside software that you already use, you may be uninsured for some of the most expensive mistakes you could ever make. Bloomberg reported that insuring AI companies is becoming extremely expensive. Now, that's true if it's an actual AI company, but the article misses something very critical. This isn't just a problem for AI developers, it's a problem for every business. AI is no longer a tech industry tool. It's in everything. Real estate listings, accounting software, law firm review tools, and we know law firms are getting in trouble with this stuff, medical diagnostics, human resourcing, screening tools, marketing content, software as a service automations. AI is embedded in tools people don't even know contain AI. If AI touches your work product, You are responsible for the output. Most business owners don't know this. What's even scarier is most insurance agents, especially, don't know this. So, journalists obviously aren't insurance professionals. So, they see, quote, AI insurance is expensive, and then interpret it as big AI labs can't get coverage. But the real story is traditional insurance is quietly excluding AI related losses from the policies most businesses rely on. So, a policy called an errors and omissions insurance policy are adding AI exclusions. E&O policies are for people like accountants and service industry, financial advisors, people like that, that protect them if they make a mistake in the services they provide. Now, general liability policies, they're excluding it as well, but general liability policies in most cases are for bodily injury, which really don't come into play in this particular case. Now, some of you may have heard of cyber liability policies, but those are for people who have their identity stolen from your business, things like that. Those things are definitely excluding AI output failures as well. And then if you own a marketing business, media liability insurance is excluding AI generated content errors. But these exclusions, they're written quietly. They're buried in endorsements. If you've ever looked at an insurance policy and saw how many pages there are, it's hard to keep track of things. And that's where they hide this stuff. They hide the exclusions in all that paperwork. And agents often don't understand what those exclusions mean. If your business uses AI in any part of its work, your traditional insurance most likely does not cover AI related losses. You don't need to build AI to be exposed. You only have to use AI. And that's what the article previously from Bloomberg missed. If AI influences your output, you are liable. Courts don't sue AI, they sue you. So AI generated listing descriptions. Maybe you have the wrong square footage. There's some misrepresentation claims. And then you have a denied E&O because the AI created the error. Let's look at accountants. You have AI-powered tax preparation. What if there are miscalculations? Then the client gets penalties. E&O insurance might deny that because AI contributed to those errors. In the law industry, an AI document review, they might have missed a clause or something in a contract. It gave a faulty summary, and then their malpractice insurance excludes for AI-generated text. Doctors, diagnostic AI in radiology or primary care, there might be false positives or even false negatives. Traditional malpractice excludes machine-generated decisions. Maybe if you're a marketing agency, AI-generated claims that violate advertising laws, then your client sues you because they're the ones who get hit, and then the policy will exclude the AI content that was generated. How about human resource departments? If you used AI to do candidate screening, then you might lead to a discrimination claim. Your employment practices liability may exclude automated decision systems. Let's go into engineering and construction. And if you, let's say you used AI modeling and it calculated faulty calculations, which led to structural risk, and then you have some building issues. Software as a service company, AI-driven automation errors, systemic failures affecting clients, denied tech E&O due to AI language. So insurers are not pricing AI risk into traditional policies. It's an additional risk that they really didn't think about when they wrote those additional policies. So they're not collecting premium. So instead, they are outright excluding it. So the businesses are assuming they're covered, but they're not. And agents haven't been trained on AI. And most agents don't know how AI even works, let alone how to insure it. Your business may already be exposed and you don't even know it. Now let's bring in the Bloomberg angle. But we have some serious talking points that we have to get through. We have a company called Munich Re, and they're not just insuring losses. They are moving towards a performance guarantee model. They evaluate AI systems and they set operational boundaries. So, in other words, it's not an insurance policy, it actually becomes a guarantee of performance. So, this is a massive shift from traditional insurance. Because AI risk is unpredictable and potentially catastrophic, the old model can't handle it. Insurers need certainty, and these guarantees provide that. Insurance companies are no longer just insuring businesses, they are being asked to insure machine decisions because of AI. So let's say, going back to the real estate example, if having a real estate deal that falls apart, an AI listing error, the buyer sues, a claim is denied, and the agent is personally exposed. Or a tax filing goes wrong from a CPA. The AI miscalculates, the IRS gives penalties, and the E&O insurance denies the accountant claim, and the accountant ends up having to pay. Or a doctor relies on AI diagnostics. The AI misreads the image, leads to a patient injury. There's a malpractice exclusion, leads to an uninsured claim. Or a marketing agency uses AI copy. The client ends up losing revenue, sues. Of course, there's an AI exclusion, and the agency has to pay those damages. Even in retail store uses AI inventory. The AI overestimates stock. Then it's lost to holiday sales. There's a shareholder claim. That's denied. Or a SaaS platform using AI automation. The AI fails. Damage is spread across hundreds of clients. The insurer is going to walk away from that. AI is already everywhere, and insurance has not caught up. And until it does, businesses are exposed. And as we all know, AI tools move faster than regulators. Insurance right now is responding with exclusions. And businesses are moving blindly, assuming they're covered, and they're not. AI-specific insurance fills the gap, but most don't know to ask for it, and most agents don't know how to provide it. So if your business is using AI in any part of your work, you need to review your insurance coverage right now. You may be exposed without realizing it. And we specialized in AI E&O, AI liability, and AI-specific cyber coverage. So you can go to my website, DennisHendrickson.net, and actually go to HendricksonINS.com, and you can learn what coverage you actually need and book an appointment so you're not blindsided when something goes wrong. AI is changing everything, and your insurance needs to change with it. All right, so let's see. Let's check here. And again, head to HendricksonINS.com, and there you can learn about our insurance company and our website and learn more about. You can also book a call and talk with us, and we can help you out with that. But it is a very important topic if you're a business owner, and you need to definitely check to be sure if you are covered for AI. In most cases, you're not. Okay, so moving on to the second story. 28% of U.S. teens say they use AI chatbots daily. And this is a poll that was done, and this story comes from NBC News. As many as 64% of U.S. teens say they use AI chatbots such as ChatGPT or Google Gemini, with about 28% saying they use them daily, according to survey results released Tuesday by the Pew Research Center, a nonpartisan polling firm. The survey results provide a snapshot of how far AI chatbots have entered the mainstream culture. 3 years after the release of ChatGPT set off a wave of AI investment and marketing by the tech industry. It illustrates the extent to which chatbots have begun to influence teens' daily lives, even as the impact of such technology on child development remains unclear. According to the Pew survey, about 4% of the teen respondents said they use AI chatbots almost constantly. And we got into this with some other stories related to teens using these chatbots and claiming that the chatbots are pushing them to suicide, which is a completely different subject. Well, similar to this, but a very dangerous type situation. So 12% said they use them several times a day. Another 12% said they did so about once a day. And about 18% said they used AI chatbots several times a week. It's striking that a majority of teens are using these apps, said Michelle Favrio, a research associate at Pew who worked on the survey. On the other end of the spectrum, about 36% of teen respondents said they do not use AI chatbots at all, which is kind of surprising to me. This survey, conducted online from September 25th to October 9th, asked 1,458 students ages 13 to 17 about their online habits. The teens were recruited to participate with their parents, according to Pew. Though Pew surveys American teens each year, it was the first time asking broadly about AI chatbot use. AI chatbot use by minors has been especially controversial. Chatbot makers such as OpenAI and Character AI are facing wrongful death lawsuits from families who say teens died by suicide with the help of their chatbots. And this goes back into the story I was talking about before, where these are emerging risks that are coming in. And obviously, the parents of these children are going to be suing these companies, and very well, they could be held liable. So the policies and the defense is very important. These companies have said they should not be held responsible and that they are trying to prevent similar misuse in the future. Well, it's an interesting statement if they're saying they shouldn't be held responsible, but then they have to prevent similar misuse in the future. Sort of seems contradictory to me. In October, 2 U.S. senators said they were going to introduce legislation to ban companies from providing AI chatbots to minors at all. I don't know how they're going to do that. It seems like a very difficult thing to do. And of course, this goes back to parenting and whether or not the parents are going to remain in control and pay attention to what their kids are using. Previous research has shown that teens are using AI chatbots for schoolwork, emotional support, and creative projects, including music, among other uses. About 14% of surveyed U.S. adults said in June that they used AI chatbots very often, according to an NBC News Decision Desk poll powered by SurveyMonkey. Although results from different polls are difficult to compare because of the wording of questions and other factors. But I would have to say that most people are using AI, and adults are using AI even more. And like I said before, in the insurance realm, many businesses are using AI and they don't even realize it. So the chatbot thing is going to become almost 100%, I think, across the board. But then how it's being used is going to be an interesting topic, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. AI chatbot usage among teens varied somewhat by race, according to the Pew survey. 35% of Black teens and 33% of Hispanic teens said they used AI chatbots daily, while 22% of white teens said the same. And older teens, those age 15 to 17, were more likely to be daily users than younger teens, the survey found. And boys and girls were equally likely to say in the survey that they had ever used an AI chatbot. ChatGPT was the most used AI app among teens. with 59% saying they had ever used it. Google Gemini was the second at 23%, and Meta AI was third at 20%, according to Pew. Now, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Meta are just three. You have Grok, you have Perplexity AI, which I just mentioned before regarding the lawsuit, or actually I'm going to be talking about that in the next story. But there are so many now that are coming out. It's really crazy. It's hard to even keep track of them all. So the survey had also asked the teens which other apps and websites they use, and those results were consistent with other survey results in recent years. The number one was YouTube, with 92% of respondents saying they used it, followed by TikTok at 68%, Instagram at 63%, and Snapchat at 55%. At the back of the pack were Facebook at 31%. That was pretty interesting because I'd done a video yesterday about Facebook, and it is mostly baby boomers that are using Facebook, so that is not a surprise at that 31%. I am a little surprised that YouTube is as high as it is at 92%. It's actually good because primarily that's what I put my content on. And WhatsApp was at 24%, which I can't even understand how anyone uses that as a social media platform, but I guess it is. Reddit at 17%, which I thought would be probably more popular than that. Then X all the way down at 16%. Despite threats earlier this year that the US government could ban TikTok, the share of teens who say they are on TikTok almost constantly rose slightly to 21% this year from 16% in 2022, according to Pew. So let me know what you have to say about this. Are you using chatbots? I see here, Lucky 7, there will be, it is going to be the real big brother, especially with the hardware. People wearing these glasses, cameras everywhere, and then you mix in AI all together, and that's a recipe for disaster. And I can't believe you have all those subs and only a few thumbs up. Yeah, it's unfortunately one of those deals where it takes a while. If you're not using the channel for quite a while, it kind of tails off. So we're getting back in again, but I appreciate you being in here and participating. So thanks for watching, and let us know if you're involved in AI at all, if you use it. And we will go into the third story that I had just mentioned before. So New York Times is suing Perplexity AI for illegal copying of content. This is from Reuters. So Perplexity filed a lawsuit, or New York Times filed a lawsuit against Perplexity AI on Friday. They are claiming that the artificial intelligence startup was copying, distributing, and displaying millions of its articles without permission to power its generative AI products. Now, I have not used Perplexity AI. I just started using it a little bit, but at ChatGPT and some others I've been using more frequently. And this is what I'm talking about. So Perplexity, okay, so they're pulling basically the same information from the web as the other large language models are doing. So if the New York Times has a problem with Perplexity, then theoretically it has a problem with ChatGPT and Google and everybody else. So it's interesting to me, and this is why I thought of this particular story, because I wonder why the New York Times is picking on Perplexity and not these other companies. So when you read these things and you look at this stuff, there's sometimes there's things going on behind the scenes, let's say, that we don't know. The startup has become a target of multiple legal disputes and faces similar accusations from a number of publishers as it tries to aggressively carve out a share of the hyper-competitive market for generative AI tools. And that's what makes me think that there's some monopolistic behavior going on, there's some bullying going on, and a bunch of companies are getting together and they're doing what they can to try and keep competition from happening. So the Times has claimed that the startup's generative AI products created fabricated content or hallucinations and falsely attributed them to the newspaper by displaying them alongside its registered trademarks. ChatGPT and others kind of do this stuff too. It went on to say that Perplexity's business model relied on scraping and copying content, including paywalled material. I can say that ChatGPT does not do the going behind paywalled material. That's kind of strange to me. It's really interesting that Perplexity does that. I guess we'll find out through the courts and through the process on how they've done that. I'm not even really sure how that's possible, but when it comes to this type of technology, anything is possible. Quote, while we believe in the ethical and responsible use and development of AI, we firmly object to Perplexity's unlicensed use of our content to develop and promote their products, New York Times spokesman Graham James said. The New York Times is seeking damages, injunctive relief, and other equitable remedies to prevent Perplexity, from, you say that 5 times real fast, from continuing its alleged unauthorized use of content. The startup's head of communication, Jesse Dwyer, dismissed the lawsuit, saying it was an unsuccessful tactic used by publishers against emerging technologies. And that might be a pretty good argument considering the fact that they're not suing the other companies and just Perplexity. Perplexity had previously said that it was not scraping data for building foundation models, but rather indexing web pages and providing factual citations. And I don't see anything wrong with that. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York comes more than a year after the New York Times sent a cease and desist notice to Perplexity. It is also the latest salvo in a bitter ongoing battle between publishers and tech companies over the use of copyrighted content without authorization. And this is what I'm talking about again when it comes to AI, and when it comes to the media, and when it comes to lawsuits and insurance. So at some point, a company is going to be, now in this case, Perplexity is the large language model. They're the AI lab. They're the big company. And they're the ones that Bloomberg was saying in the other story that it's difficult to get insurance for them. It's extremely expensive because really they're the ones who are going to be getting hit, at least initially right now with these lawsuits, because they're the big guys with all the money and all the backing. But think about it as a company, if you're using AI and whatever it is that you're doing, and even personally, at some point, you're going to be using AI. You won't have any choice but to use AI in what you're doing. And ultimately, it's going to put you at risk if you're not careful. And I can tell you this, at least with Perplexity, what they're saying is that they're using citations and where they're getting their information from. I can tell you that some LLMs or large language models like ChatGPT will pull information, but they won't cite it. And when you ask them to cite it and tell you where it came from, they can't. And they essentially tell you they made it up. So these are the types of things that people really don't understand or take into consideration, especially with the stories that we've been hearing about with lawyers that are using case law that was completely made up. These are the hallucinations that people are talking about. In October, social media company Reddit sued Perplexity in New York federal court, accusing it and 3 other companies of unlawfully scraping its data. The San Francisco-based startup, which is valued at about $20 billion, is also facing lawsuits from Encyclopedia Britannica, media baron Rupert Murdoch's Dow Jones, and the New York Post. So once again, it just seems like they're being ganged up on. I don't know what they're doing that's really that different than these other AI companies. So this seems very strange to me. The New York Times, which has allowed Amazon.com to use its editorial content for AI products such as Alexa, is also tussling with ChatGPT maker OpenAI. So at least they are also going after ChatGPT as well. Reuters reported last year that multiple AI companies were bypassing a web standard used by publishers to block the scraping of their data used in generative AI systems. So let me know what you have to say about this. Do you think that it's okay that these large AI companies are scraping the data and using it in their results? And the way I look at it is, how is it any different from Google? And when you do a search, that information pops up and then you click on it and read the article itself. Is that the same thing? Is it different? Is AI somehow using the information that it's providing that people are searching for in AI models? Are they benefiting from it monetarily more than Google would by having its search engine? So it's a wild, wild west right now with all of this stuff. It is super crazy, and there's a lot of things that need to be worked out. So let's see. Yeah, but that is going to do it for us tonight. And I once again, check out our links in the description. If you want to learn more about AI, we don't just do insurance, but we also have AI templates that are free that you can also download, and that'll help you learn how to use ChatGPT and other LLMs, and kind of get a hold of this and understand and use AI. And AI is not going away. It's going to be something that's going to pretty much take over our lives. So we might as well learn it as best we can. So Lucky, thank you for being here. And producer Bethany, thank you also for being here. We're going to call it a night, and we're going to see you again tomorrow night, same time, 9:30 p.m. And thanks again for watching.